Hey, this is Rich over at TVP Live with another quick tips tutorials brought to you by Photoshop Elements Custom Tutorials Group. And let's jump right in with today's poster who brought us this wonderful picture. I don't know where it's from, but it looks absolutely beautiful. But what we wanted to do was to take the reflection of the lake and expand it beyond the water's edge here so that all this sand and dirt here is water, basically. So how do we do that? Well, one way is to actually take the reflection and make it the water. And what I'm talking about is we're going to take the rectangle marquee and we're going to start from the top left and bring it down to the bottom right. Let's go to its lowest point of what we want to copy, which is at the corner of these trees, and go all the way across here. And I'm going to let go, right click in the middle and hit copy. Watch up here, it opened up a new layer. What we want to do to that layer is flip it around. So we're going to go over here to Image, rotate, and flip it vertically. Watch what happens. Boom. Our image just was flipped vertically. So now what we want to do is match up the reflection underneath it on the lake, but we can't see through it, so we got to make it opaque first. We're going to come up here to opacity and change that down to like 50% or so. And now when we move this around, we can actually see both versions. Now I don't want to grab the back version by mistake, so I'm going to unlock it and then relock it and make sure that that lock is over here. Come back to that top portion and come down here, and I'm going to match the reflection of the mountain tips with the reflection of the mountain tips over here. So I come down here and you can see, look at that, they fit almost perfectly. Now I have this weird feeling that this original photo was actually edited. And how do I know? Because there's a difference between my copy of the reflection and the original photo. Look right here. There's some trees right in this little corner that are not in the original over here. So I have a really strange feeling that this photo was actually edited, but I'm not positive. Anyway, once I got the mountains here pretty much close to where I want them, then I want to erase what I don't want from the top layer. So I'm going to grab an eraser and I want to follow along this beachhead here like that. And I'm going to take the eraser and then make that, I don't know, maybe like 30 point soft brush, and just basically follow this beachhead all the way through the photo. Just do it by hand, it's fine. It'll work perfectly fine. Once we get to the other side, I let go and then bring that opacity back up to 100%. Let's turn off the bottom picture by hitting that, and now we can see what we cut out. Let's get rid of that top portion using the polygon tool, and I'm going to come over here, boom, and just simply cut in between where I erased out, keeping the bottom portion, and get rid of the top portion. Boom, double click, hit delete, and there we go. We got our bottom reflection. I'm going to turn the bottom back on, and there's a perfect reflection. Now in real life, it's not going to be that perfect. That reflection needs to be, as I toggle it, you'll see the one below. It's a little bit darker, a little bit less color, and it's got some waviness to it, some sort of distortion. That's what we want to build into our reflection. Once we turn it back on, let's go ahead and create some of that. I'm going to go to Enhance, Color, Hue, Saturation, and first thing I can take the saturation all the way down or all the way up, and I'm going to do is just lessen it just a tad like that. That's about minus 21%. And then the lightness, I can make it really light or really dark. And if it's water, the water is usually dark, so we want to darken it just a little bit, right around there. It's about minus 13%. Here's the before and after. The copy down there should not be as pretty as the actual sky. So we like that. Let's go ahead and hit OK. Next, let's add some effects by coming down here to Filters. And let's go to, let's say Distort. And right here we got one that's called Ripple. Watch this carefully. When I hit Ripple, boom, it gave us a little bit of ripple in the water. How do we know? I can make it large, and look what it's done to it. See that? So we can lessen it. But that might be a little bit too much. So I'm going to make the size medium, and then bring the amount up a little bit. If I bring it up a lot, you see what it does. It's way too much. Let's bring that back down to maybe right around there, 54%. If I hit OK, then I can come back to layers, and I'm going to show you the before and after. Before, the original, and after. So we got our own little ripples, but it's still a little too sharp. So let's go ahead and add some blur. I'll come here to a filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and I can add whatever amount I want. And I can go down to 0.1% and bring it up a little bit at a time until I'm satisfied with that. I think right at around 1.7. That looks really natural right there. And we like that. So now we got the whole bottom half of the reflection going on, but what happened to our old beach head? We need a little bit of this beach head so it looks more realistic. So let's go ahead and bring the opacity back down to 50 so we can see the original beach head a little bit and choose a line that we can create a beach head. I'm going to take the eraser and let's do a soft eraser. I don't know, like 50 point soft brush. That looks pretty good. And I'm going to pick a line here that I'm going to make the new beach head way up here, and I'll do something like come across like that and just cut off the photo right around there. That looks great. And now we're going to bring that opacity back up to 100%, and let's cut out that using the polygon tool. And boom, boom, double click here, hit the delete, and there we go. We got us a little beach head. But now let's go ahead and add a little drop shadow so it looks like the water's edge is a little bit darker. How do we do that? By adding a real drop shadow. I'll right click, select style, hit drop shadow over here, make the drop shadow straight up and down, and let's make the opacity up at 75. See what's happening there? Make the distance like that, and then make the size, the spread, really spread out like that. And here's the before, after. Before, after. We like that. I'm going to hit OK. And that's pretty much all there's to it. Well, this is Rich calling it quits for this tutorial, saying over and out.